Welcome to Behind the Helm. We are so happy you're here with us. The show features myself and Petty Officer Dowden. We work together in Indiana as Navy recruiters. We created the show with the intention to help bring together the past, present, and future personnel of the military to help build a better understanding of what it's like to actually be a part of it. So you'll see anything from like interviews to video reactions or just personal stories of our own to help guide those who have interest in learning more about what the military has to offer and what it takes to make the ultimate sacrifice to serve your country. This podcast can be found on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and live on Facebook every Thursday at 4 p.m. And that's facebook.com/behindthehelm. So don't forget to like, share, and follow the show so you never miss out on an episode. And thank you to everyone here who supports us. Enjoy. Episode 29 weeks.
29 weeks of doing this.
We missed some, right?
Miss a few. We're over 30. There were a couple
Yeah.
that, we had because of this or that.
I
Unfortunately,
hope you know next week you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. You're going to be on the old vacay.
We'll be out in Disney.
Out of
Or
Disney.
as my daughter calls Bisney.
Disney.
It is.
It is a business.
Yeah.
Disney, baby.
So, welcome to Behind the Helm. If this is your first time here, we are happy to have you here. If this is your 29th time here, what's up, man? Have a seat. It's been waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Plug us in.
Let's talk. You go ahead.
Oh, you want me to plug that in? All right.
Talk about the other platform.
So if you're watching right now, you are you're on Facebook. You can find us here live, 4 p.m. every Thursday. If you're listening somewhere else, you might even know another platform. But if not, if you're here live with us now, you can follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and follow us, and you could download these podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
You get the notifications there. You can download the audio so you can listen to it on the go.
Those go live the next day, so Friday around 4 is what we aim for. Sometimes there could be some technical things that go around, but if you ever want to come back and listen, you can always just find it on Facebook. It will be posted immediately forever.
Yeah,
So,
after the fact. So just wanted to put this out there. This week's episode is actually brought to you by Greeks Pizzeria at 813 East McGalliard in Muncie, Indiana. If you are from Muncie, you know Greeks.
yeah, you know Greeks.
All right, you know Greeks Pizzeria. Greeks Pizzeria has been around since 1969. It's our taste. Call 765-282-7492 or visit them at GreeksPizzeria.com where they have free delivery. They also have dine-in and carry-out. And for all of you military out there or veterans, they do give a 10% discount on everything. So most definitely, thank you so much. Greeks here on McGalliard, right in the same, come see us.
Yeah,
come
right
ring
next
our
door.
doorbell. We'll wave to you, and then you can walk down, go to Greeks. So thank you again to the owner right over here at Greeks for sponsoring today's show. And we have a little something special for our bonus content today, so definitely make sure you stick around. Smash that like button right now. Make sure you comment down below if you've ever ate at Greeks. What's your favorite thing from there? And no, you cannot say beer. All right, so you can't.
Were we talking about White Claws in the last episode?
Yeah.
All right.
They have White Claws.
Well, that's
at
not
Greeks,
That's
by the way.
hardly a beer.
That is not. No, that's a seltzer. But anyway, Greeks Pizzeria, 813 East McGalliard here in Muncie, Indiana. Thank you so much, and like I said, stick around for that bonus content. With another episode comes another homage to the Eagle, and since Greeks is our sponsor for today, I have their takeout menu. So if the Eagle, when we're not here, wants some delicious Greeks, 813 East McGalliard Road, make sure to go to their website, GreeksPizzeria.com, that the Eagle can order some Greeks.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. All right, so what are we talking about today? Talking about some port visits.
Port
Right?
visits.
In our last episode, we talked a lot about, what life is like at sea.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the best part about being out to sea is the port visits. It's what makes the Navy very different amongst the other branches. It's what makes us stand out. And like we always say, it comes down to lifestyle choice.
Yep.
This is the choice. This is the lifestyle that we chose. And I would say the lifestyle that we really like
About it, yeah.
about it. Because we said, every branch is deployable. So it's all about, hey, what do you want those deployments to look like? And this is going to be kind of a glimpse into what it looks like to be on deployment with the Navy.
It's one of the main reasons I joined the Navy was I knew, although not knowing a lot about the Navy, is I knew that if I wanted to travel, it was a place to go. Not even to the extent that I have. But, we were talking about life at sea last week, and gosh, honestly, we probably could have talked about it another hour. And that's why we didn't get to port calls. So we wanted to continue this and talk about port calls and what that means. And we've said before, deployment's kind of a scary word for some people, but in the Navy, that's actually the biggest time, not the only time, but the biggest time when we actually do get to do port calls or visit other countries because, once a month, sometimes twice a month, you're pulling into another country and getting to see that culture and, try that food in that area and see the sights and meet the people. So that's what we're going to go over today.
Yeah. So, have you, well, I've been to some port calls, not as many as you. I've been to Peru, Chile, Brazil.
It's Chala.
Chala. Okay. It's not.
That's Indiana.
Okay.
There's a Peru, Indiana. There's like, I know you, I don't know if you've really gone up that
I've
way,
heard of
but
it, yeah,
it's
I've heard
Peru,
Yep.
Mexico, and then Chile. It's Chili, but they say it's Chala. I don't know why I have to say it with a redneck accent. I apologize. I'm from here.
Yeah. So I've been there, and you've been too. Go ahead.
Just overseas.
Yeah. Take a deep breath.
I almost choked. Iceland, Ireland, Scotland, London, and Plymouth, England, multiple Azore Islands, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Sicily, Greece, Crete, Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, Turkey, Israel. I've been down through the Red Sea, stopped in a place in Africa called Djibouti. Don't go there, it's just fun to say. I've been up into the Arabian Gulf and been to Jabali, Bahrain, and Dubai.
Wow. So you've been all around the place.
And some of those...
Man, you must have been on
the
the ship for like 20 years.
No. It was 21. No, I was only, I was only stationed on the ship 4.5 years, USS Cole. And, that's just the port visits overseas. Like, we pulled into New Orleans. We pulled into, we talked about 9/11. We pulled into New York City, like, multiple places in Florida, so, Key West, like, it's awesome. But 4.5 years, and quite honestly, like, I've never really sat and added it up, but I could honestly say probably only about half that time total was I away, and it wasn't all at one time. The other half the time, like, we were just tied up to a pier, like came in, did our job, we went home. So we don't put the ship out all the time. It has to have a mission or something to do. It's very expensive. I don't think people realize that.
Oh yeah.
And if you're watching right now, if you're in the service, if you're in the Navy, or if you've ever been in the Navy, make sure you smash that like button first off. Second off, make sure you share this feed and go ahead and post in the comments. What was your favorite port that you visited and why? I'd like to hear it. Go ahead and put that down below. And if you're not here live and you're watching this on YouTube or later, still post it. I want to see it. I want to know.
So I feel like a lot of people would probably ask, like, why are we even going to these countries? And sometimes that's a question that's kind of up in the air on like the main reason why. Sometimes I think really in the Navy sense, it's a show of power.
It is. It's a presence.
It's like a show off type of thing. Like, hey, check this out. We are the Navy.
You remember this? You remember this catchphrase? Global force for good.
Yeah.
Like, it's a global presence, and all in all, it's a presence because we can refuel and get food at sea. We don't have to pull in, so that's not why. It is. It's 100% like, and because like friendly countries and stuff, like showing that we're there to support them and support their economy as well.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of times, so let's just start kind of from the beginning. Before you go out, you kind of have an idea of where you're going to go.
For the most part.
For the most part. Sometimes they might take away or add to a set of countries that you might go to. Now, you have like an ultimate destination that you're going. But along the way, they said, hey, we're going to stop here. We're going to stop here. They roughly tell you how long you're going to be there.
Yep.
And you can actually prepare for each one. So you don't just go. You can go to these countries with absolutely no itinerary. right? But they actually send. I'm pretty sure they send an email of what that country is going to be like. They tell you some of the areas of interest, but they also tell you some of the areas to stay away from, right? Because, not every country is safe. Like Brazil, they didn't want us hanging out in the favelas, right?
Yeah,
if you were going there on vacation, you wouldn't do that either.
You're not supposed to go like, what is it, Brazil? I've heard, because I used to work with a guy from Brazil, like basically off the coastline. Like if you're like me or you going there, not local, like not more than a mile, like inland.
There's literally like the town, and then just straight up is the favelas, and they're like, no, don't go in there, right? So you already know what you're getting into, and on top of that, when I'm talking about an itinerary, right, what are we going to do here? They have tours you can buy. Navy has something called MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, and they buy tours ahead of time, and sailors can purchase these tickets on the ship to go to these tours. And anytime you purchase, it's actually going to help fund MWR even more.
Sometimes there were ones that were like free, and you were talking about like preparing for these ports. So like on my first deployment, we knew we were going to the Med. That helped us. We knew that prior to getting underway. So like what we brought with us, because I ain't going out in this. Not my coveralls, my dress whites. Like you're in civilian clothes, so like you know the time of year and like where you're going, so that you packed accordingly. Also, certain countries, right? So talking about that, like the good places to go, bad places to go. It was also like some countries you had briefs because of cultural differences. Like when we were in the Middle East, like when we went to Dubai and like stuff like that. Like at the time, vaping was still, you could still do it on the ship. And over there you cannot, like you can't smoke on the street, like you get arrested. So like you have those cultural briefs as well.
They even not to interrupt you, but even they talked about certain, I remember when we were in Peru, they talked about certain hand gestures and how like what we do could be seen as offensive versus So, I mean, what you're getting into when you get there.
They let you know. And then the MWR thing, it's not just tours, right? So, I mean, a lot of it's tours, but it's also different fun things. Like when I was in Jebel Ali, like we got to do, I guess you could call it a tour, but it was like this sand dune thing. Like they took us out, like they drove us out in like these Jeeps. And then we got to the side of the desert. They let air out so that, and they took us. And I mean, these dudes are driving like 2 foot, like it was scary, and they're just like ripping up these sand dunes with us. And then they had like taken us out to this kind of like makeshift fort, and like they fed us dinner, and you could get like a hookah, and they had like a traditional belly dancer, and then a male that came out and did this like traditional dance and stuff, and there was music. And when we were in Dubai, I didn't go to this, but my buddy went to Ferrari. Is it Ferrari World? Yeah. And, they have a roller coaster there. It's so fast. Like you have to wear a helmet, a race helmet because of and, we had discounted tickets to that. It's very popular, very expensive, but they also tell you, like you were saying, just stuff to go see, what sites are there or whatever. And you look that stuff up on your own too. Well, if you care to, you should. I mean, when are you going to have the chance? So, you're well informed. Every now and then they might add a stop or take away one or whatever, so it might change a little bit, but you have a general knowledge of where you're going to be, just not necessarily when, because we can't really put that out.
So when you pull in, right, it's different on every platform, so I'll talk about mine specifically. So with carriers, it is the largest ship out there as far as naval vessel. So at times it can be limiting on where they go. So what they do is they use something called a Liberty boat. So what will happen is everyone lines up in the hangar bay, and you have a Liberty buddy. You don't leave by yourself. You have to have a designated person you're with. That's
sometimes
a safety
it's a party.
Sometimes
that depends on the country too, right?
It depends on the country, because they will not let you go out by yourself. Which I mean, you're in another country. You're there on a working visa, technically, right?
Yeah, you don't really want to go out by yourself anyway. I mean,
yeah, that's not fun. So, and for us, we waited in line, and then you would go down, and there would be a barge that was attached to the stern dock of the ship. You step on the barge, and then you step on a Liberty boat that drives out, that rides out to their port. And then you get off. Usually it's at that country's naval base. That's usually, from what I've seen, all the countries we've been to, it was their naval base. So like in Peru, seeing the Peruvian Navy was very interesting.
Yeah, seeing other navies, it is really cool to meet other navies too.
Yeah.
I mean, I have got the opportunity to do that, and like seeing how they are. And
a lot of times they'll bring their commanders and stuff on board. That's that whole presence type of thing. And for you, it is much different how it works for you. I mean, for yours, it seems more streamlined.
Yeah, and for you, like you said, like, so I know that we pulled into ports where carriers could pull in, but like you said, there's a lot that you just can't. It's too big. They don't have the type of facilities to do that.
And also, not many ships go to Peru.
Sure.
There's not many deployments that involve South America because that's not really where a lot of stuff happens. I just so happen to be changing home ports.
Yeah. So for us as a destroyer, and this is pretty much the same for like cruisers as well, we pull in, and it doesn't have to be a naval port like a lot were, but like when we were in Romania, like we literally pulled into, like it's like it was like a cruise ship terminal, and then what they had done is they'd set up Connex boxes, and pretty much quarantined it off for like when we were there, and fencing and stuff like that. But we just pull in. And then, instead of 5,000 people, 3,500 to 5,000 people, you're talking 250 to 300 people. And, you line up at the quarterdeck, and like you'll have the brow that goes, just straight off onto the pier. Same thing though. You have to sign out like with a Liberty Buddy or a couple, depending, and depending on where we were as well. Like you may have to have one of your members may have to be like your, basically more or less think of them as your designated driver. You're not driving anywhere, but there has to be a quote unquote like non-drinking Liberty Buddy. Just so if you're going out and like mainly just for safety, not that like we're going out and like crawling around because we're that drunk or anything. It's just, if you get inebriated, like having that person that's cognizant, again, just watching out for each other. But yeah, it's a lot more streamlined on off, so a little bit easier. I can't imagine. I've seen on a carrier. I know it's probably like streamlined just because like obviously it's something that you've done a lot. You know what I mean? Like when you're on a carrier. But to me, the way that I would get on and off the ship and like just being near a carrier, I'm just like I couldn't even imagine. So
yeah,
really different.
So what are we doing in these countries? Like, what's the goal? The goal is nothing. Like as just the person working on the ship, the goal is to go blow off some steam and have a good time.
It's literally like a mini vacation.
There's really nothing else to say about it.
Yeah.
It's your time to visit a country.
Yeah, they're not
on
pulling
the Navy dollar.
They're not pulling us off to the side and like, all right, so you need to go and like da-da-da. Like no.
Yeah.
Like it literally is like that's our deployment. Like we pull in and there's a Liberty call. Like we're literally in civilian clothes, going out, seeing the sights, like trying the local food and like stuff like that, and like going on the tours and like enjoying the country, like getting to see the country for what it is. So
and just like even the ability to stay out in that country overnight is something that you're able to do. Now it kind of depends on how long you've been on board sometimes and things like that, but for the most part you should be able to do it. But the ship, another thing that needs to be known is that the ship has to be manned at all times. So if they say you're coming in for 5 days, there will be a point in time where there'll be a day where you don't go there.
Yeah,
you'll have to stay on board because you can't just abandon the ship and have nobody. Yeah. That's a safety
you
issue.
got part of the crew that's keeping, because we're not like hooking up, we're still running off of what we call like ship's power. So you have to have people maintaining that. And then, I've had different port visits too where you still like, you may still have like a regular work day because like certain stuff has to get done, and then you're getting off a little earlier, like 1, 2, and then you have, all night or whatever. And then, I've definitely been to ports too, where it's like, look, if you're not the crew that has to stay behind for that day, like as soon as like you wake up in the morning and go.
That's exactly how it works.
So it all just kind of depends on what's going on at the time, because at the end of the day, like a job still has to get done. And like you said, we can't just abandon the ship, and things still need to be maintained. So,
Yeah.
But you're like, I've never been to a port that I didn't get to go enjoy it. We pulled into one that like we literally only pulled into get fuel. Like plans had changed. We had to go. We were going to be there for a while and we just weren't able to. That was the only port where I didn't get off the ship, but literally nobody did. So
Yeah.
well, I mean, I did actually. I went out on the pier to tie up. So technically I was there, you know?
So, what are the kind of places that you can go to? I mean, we mentioned.
Well, there
we
has to
mentioned
be
a
there has to be an
bunch.
ocean, right? We're not digging
Yeah.
channels.
Yeah, there
I mean-
has to be an ocean.
I mean, we're not like, you know, going to I don't know. It's like Indiana, right? Like we're not coming to Indiana.
We're not going to
so-
Kansas.
Yeah,
We're
not gonna happen.
We're not gonna be visiting, mainland Germany.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not gonna be going into. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like a country that's like landlocked. It doesn't matter, but
doesn't
like you
matter.
get it. Like we could pretty much go anywhere. Okay, we're not going to pull into Iran or Iraq.
No,
Like
no.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
there are other cities we don't. Now we'll be right off their coast, international waters. You know, but
Yeah.
there has to be that that kind of handshake as well with that country. So
Yeah, so wherever we're going, it's usually going to be a pretty friendly place.
the Northern Atlantic, been there. The Med, obviously the Arabian Gulf. Obviously you were Southern Atlantic and Pacific. The whole Pacific, all the way over into Asia. We stopped places there. Also, even more in the Northern Atlantic, like we have stops in like Norway and places like that as well. So literally everywhere.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of create an idea of some of the places you can go. And I went online and I looked at basically Marines and Navy have like voted on their favorite port visits.
Okay.
For a Mediterranean and
Westpac or
West
Pacific.
Pacific,
Yeah.
Which are usually the two that you look at because not a lot of people go down into, the Southern Atlantic and stuff like that, like I did. So, or even into the Arctic. Some people go there.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
times you go Northern Atlantic. You can go to
Like when I went to Scotland and,
Yeah.
and the other ships I know that went to like
But
Norway and stuff.
for the most part, it's Westpacs and Medpacs is usually what you see.
And they can both get to, so like when I said that we went down through the Red Sea and up into the Arabian Gulf and stuff, like obviously if you're a Westpac sailor, you can do the same. So I think at one point we had gotten relieved by, we came from Norfolk, Virginia, and we got relieved by a ship that came from San Diego. Like how cool is that,
Yeah.
Pretty
so I picked the top 3 from each one that
Okay.
was voted. Number 1 was actually Rota, Spain. And Rota, and it's, I think a lot of it came from the fact that you
For
can
the
actually
Med.
and the Med.
Yeah.
And the Med. But you can actually get stationed in Rota in the Navy.
Yeah, we have ships permanently
Yeah.
stationed there now.
So you can get stationed here, and they actually have a video that we're going to play about a sailor that's actually stationed there. He kind of talks about his experience and give you an idea of what that
It's
place
short,
is like.
Short and
Yeah.
sweet, but you kind of get a good view of it.
Well, I picked the wrong one.
Hard for me to understand the Spanish culture because in Spain,
You just fast forward.
everybody is very relaxed. But as soon as I understood it, I was like, these people live April of 2016. When I got to Spain, I learned very quickly that history is literally in my backyard. I walk down to, downtown Rota, and I get to see some of the most beautiful chapels I've ever seen. Statues that were here, like, from the dawn of time. It's so awesome to just really think to myself, like, I get to experience a place that not many people get to experience. When I first got here, it was actually really hard for me to understand the Spanish culture because in Spain, everybody is very relaxed. But as as soon as I understood it, I was like, these people live the most stress-free life ever. Like, I don't need to stress myself out on the little things. Everybody knows in Rota, Spain, like, hey, we can take a breather, we can step back, we can enjoy life, but we can also do our job professionally and get it done in a correct manner. And I've loved that. I've gotten to understand that here. Being in Spain and being able to see all the history, it is giving me a new insight on life. I get to get out of my comfort zone, embrace it, understand it, and indulge in it. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so that's not just somewhere where you get stationed. You know what I mean? That's somewhere that, well, not somewhere you can just go visit. You can be stationed there and live there and go on deployments.
Yeah, sorry about the little technical skip there. We got to fix. But, yeah, so, like, you know, a lot of people are in Rota, Spain, and they get to see a little bit more of it when they're stationed there. You know, you have more time to explore. And with obviously, like with Europe, you know, a lot of the countries are sizes of states here. So, like, we might drive to another state to, you know, go see something. Well, it's very easy to do that. Likewise, you know, when you're in Europe. So being stationed there, I had a buddy that was stationed in Naples, Italy, and they would just, him and his fiance would take weekend trips, like, to another country. So it is, the history is amazing. When you get overseas, and like he's talking about like the old temples and stuff, like Haifa, Israel, when you pull in, like it's literally like this hill and everything's like dead center. There's this, I believe it's called a mosque, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but it's the Golden Dome. Like it's wildly like just beautiful, really cool. So again, if you've been to Rota, Spain, make sure to smash the like button. Tell us what your favorite part of Rota, Spain was. You know, like to know. Or if it wasn't your favorite port, what was? I want to know. Share this feed. Smash that like button. Comment down below.
All right, so another one in the Med was one that you just mentioned, Naples, Italy. This is another place you can actually get stationed. Mostly corpsmen get stationed here because they have a big naval hospital. But yeah, this is another place you get stationed, and I'm just gonna kind of read some of the stuff that you could do while we take a look at what's going on over here. Right, so it's the third largest city in Italy, and it's chock full of history, art, architecture, and delicious food. Yet it gets a bad rap for, some of it's crime and grime, right? But the thing with that, you got to understand, is that you're not going to be in that part of it, right? When we talked about...
Yeah, if you don't want to be.
If we talked about Brazil, they would talk about the favelas, but the understanding is, hey, stay in this area. You're not allowed to go over there, and you're not going to. Right? And yeah, it even says, just for the students, you know, you could be rewarded with truly spectacular views, chat with the friendly locals. You'll start to experience some of the magic that this port city holds. And of course, you can't forget the transcendence that comes from the first bite of Neapolitan pizza, in the city credited with inventing the pizza. Nor that,
which they're showing right now on screen as you say that.
Nor that perfect sip of espresso, which we saw earlier. But yeah, this is just kind of one of the places you can go and visit, and it's just something to step outside. And is that Neapolitan ice cream? Is that what it's called?
It is.
I guess that's what it would be from, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those places, you know, that more times than not, you're not going to be able to see on your own. And it's just one of the places that the Navy can actually take you, and not just take you there, you can actually live there and be part of it. When
we went to Italy, obviously, like, we went to Sicily a couple times, but we did go to mainland Italy. And I'm warning you now, if you don't know any like real Italian or Sicilian people, never call a Sicilian an Italian, because they are not. They are very proud that they are Sicilian. And although it's a lot of the same culture, there are differences. But what's wild is you know, talking about espresso and stuff like that, and pizza. And when we were in the Med, you get pizza, it'd have like prosciutto on it. Like that's like a big thing. And then also like we went to I'm not even kidding, a middle school to like go and like talk to students and get interviewed by like students. And we're in a middle school and they literally had a like coffee bar line. We're talking like 11, 12-year-olds. You could get like a cappuccino like in middle school, and they did because it's like that's their culture, and it's one of the best cappuccinos I ever had. And it was from a middle school. Not to mention when I got interviewed by the little girl, that she spoke English well enough that I understood her. She understood everything I said, and she was, I think, 12 or 13. It was her 5th language.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I know Pig Latin, so it's whatever.
So, and number 3 in the Med, they had Lisbon, Portugal, and actually neighbors. Rota,
Spain,
Spain's
yeah.
very close. So I'm gonna take a look at what's going on over there. So
I've been to the Azore Islands.
to the Azore Islands. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I never pulled into. I don't think we ever pulled into Portugal.
Yeah. This is often overlooked for its popular European cousins. Would you say Lisbon?
Lisbon.
Lisbon specializes in lulling tourists into its laid-back charm, perched atop 7 hills. Its alleyway wind between colorful century-old buildings. Fanciful St. George's Castle peeks out to the skyline, lending an old-world mystery to... Oh my gosh. They have so many words in here I can't read. Despite the modern, sleek buildings that are slowly raising throughout the city, village life holds strong, but there's more to Lisbon than just lazing about in coffee shops, nibbling on custard tarts, right? All day, from exploring the Fado clubs and Barrio Alto to taking the view on the top of the Santa Justa elevator, from laying out at the beaches to treasure hunting, flea market, from gazing at displays all around the coastline. Portugal's coastal capital is rich with opportunity, right? So another place you can go that the Navy could take you, and it's just, one of these places that you may not have on your list of where you want to go, but clearly we are able to go all around the world.
Yep.
So they put it down as one of the places that they like the most.
Yeah. This is voted on by service members, right? Like this
service
isn't
members.
us. Neither one would have been my favorite, but I didn't get a lot of time in Rota, so it was on our way back. So we were trying to get a lot of work done.
Yeah. All right, next one I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in. I couldn't find a video specifically for this place, but Sydney, Australia, or Perth, I've even heard of.
This would be Westpac.
Westpac. So now we're getting into the Westpac, West Pacific. What's the other one? Brisbane? Is that what it is?
I'm not
think
sure.
that's
I
the other
wasn't
one.
West Coast, but yeah, I mean,
But yeah, a lot
every
of places-
sailor I've ever heard or talked to that went to Australia said it was
And
amazing.
this was number 1 on the list for Westpac.
Yeah.
By a long shot. So, you guys obviously know about Australia. You've seen the pictures. Like literally every piece of wildlife is from there. Like every landscape you can think of is from there.
Like the scariest things that live on this planet are from there.
It's number 3 in best places to visit in Australia, Sydney, and the Pacific in general. It's a laid-back beachside town and a thriving metropolitan that boasts some of the Southern Hemisphere's best surf, landmarks, and activities. Whether you're looking to watch a show at the iconic Opera House, take to the waves at the Bondi Beach, or explore trendy areas like the Rocks and Darling Harbour, Sydney features something for everyone. Even Sydney-siders have an ideal mix of both worlds: fashion-forward attire and British-style sarcasm combined with no-worries attitude and relaxed coastal vibes. It's no wonder this vibrant city down under is a natural choice for first-time Aussie visitors. There's a lot of thrill seekers can participate in heart-pounding activities like a Sydney Harbour bridge climb. what else is on there? There's plenty of seasonal Sydney festivals and events to experience, such as Sculpture by the Sea, the Festivals of the Winds, and the Night Noodle Markets. Yeah, so there's a lot to do there as well. And I've heard amazing things about Australia, and that the actual Australians love Americans. So
Yeah.
it's like very friendly. They're excited to see you. You can speak the same language. So yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I
and
would
it's
like to
very
do that.
expensive to go there as
Is
well.
it?
I mean, yeah, to go there, like if you were just gonna,
Oh, yourself.
Grab
like if you
a
were just gonna
flight.
take, yeah, for
So-
sure.
and from what I've heard is you kind of, you're able to go there a lot. I mean, I've heard from enough people that they've been there to know, like, oh, this is just one of those places.
I think especially if you're stationed in Japan, you get there a lot more. But yeah, like that's one that I've always heard about. I've got to go to some unique places. Like Romania is not a very common place. We went there twice, getting to see Dracula's Castle or Bran Castle. That was really really cool. And the countryside in Romania is amazing. Plus, their economy is not great. So I was big balling, man. Like I felt like I comparatively, like when we went to England, it was not. You know what I mean? Like our dollar, like the pound, or it rated higher. So like I was actually, then I felt more poor.
So diving further into the Westpac, we have Thailand, and one of the countries they put here, and the way that you could pronounce, can you see that? The way you could pronounce that sounds like I'm going to say something inappropriate, but I think it's Phuket.
Phuket, yeah, I've heard that.
Phuket, Thailand.
Phuket. You do what you want. But I mean, then again, we're talking Thailand, so we're also talking Bangkok.
Yeah. So, this is just the video that you're seeing now is just Thailand in general. So some of these places you may or may not be able to go to, right? Will that make you dizzy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Pure white sands, aquamarine waters, and limestone cliffs await travelers who visit Thailand's southwest island, surrounded by Andaman Sea, and about an hour plane ride from Bangkok. The island is a little piece of paradise, which comes with a relatively low price tag for everything from its accommodations to spa treatments and boat tours. But along with its tropical appeal, it beckons to travelers wanting to experience its flavorful cuisine, lemongrass, lime leaves, chilies, and its rich culture heavily influenced by its reigning religion, Buddhism. And although the island's beaches and tourism operates have bounced back from the 2004 tsunami, which hammered its west coast and tragically claimed thousands of lives, it remains the best part. It remembers the past with memorials and a better warning system should the area once again come under threat, right? And it is absolutely beautiful. Thailand is one of those countries that you always hear about in the Navy. I think it's got to be one of the most visited.
It does, and I think a lot of times people think of Thailand and they think of like the city, like the lights and the like you can go see like the shows and like stuff like that, and kind of that big city. But that's just the one part of it. Like Thailand itself, like I said, I've never been there, but like just hearing from people, like getting out to like where the where like the ruins and stuff are, and like going and seeing that, like that it is just absolutely beautiful.
All right, and the last one is probably the most requested destination, I would imagine, in the Navy. Very famous, very beautiful, very secluded at the same time.
Also with a lot of naval history.
A lot of naval history would be Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Honolulu. You can get stationed at Pearl Harbor. We have a sailor right now that's stationed there. And we
My
are
old
always
roommate is there.
We are always jealous by what we see.
Yeah, especially when she posts pictures complaining about it. It's like,
yeah, what's there to complain about?
Don't do it.
You guys take a look at what's going on over here, and you tell me if you could find anything to complain about. I mean, just me looking at this right now, maybe not that right there, but but at the same time, like, look at this. This guy's swimming with dolphins. I'm not really cool with the volcanoes, but that is something to see, right? So, how do you say it? Is Oahu? How do you say it?
Oahu?
Yeah, Oahu blends cosmopolitan luxury and breathtaking scenery more than any other Hawaiian island. The state's capital city, Honolulu, showcases the island's urban appeal. Nearby, you'll find a host of cultural and historical sites. The USS Arizona Memorial at the Pearl Harbor National Memorial. In the nearby Waikiki neighborhood, skyline of high-rises and resorts contrasts with sparkling white sand beaches. For a taste of rural Hawaii, visit the North Shore. Here you'll find the most brilliant blue waters and meandering hikes. But those three spots aren't, how do you say it, Oahu's? Only must-see areas. It's top-notch restaurants, vibrant cultural events, and wild nightlife. Further showcase the island as a gathering place of Hawaiian culture. So, I mean, I think everyone knows what to expect with Hawaii in a sense. Like, you hear about it, it's like literally living in paradise. I know that's how you describe it.
I mean, it is. I mean, this is like one of those places that people, want to get the opportunity to vacation to, and you can get stationed there.
And you can port visit.
You port visit there, especially on a Westpac. If you're in San Diego, a lot of times you always stop in Hawaii. And we have our previous Future Sailor. She was on our show, QMSA now, Abbott. And then my old roommate, who was a CTT, I was just talking to him last night, actually. And he goes like surfing and, just all kinds of stuff, hiking. There's all kinds of trails, just amazing wildlife, and like the food is awesome. Like, it's just a different culture. And even though it's one of the United States, right? I think people forget like just how far out it is. So when you're stationed there, you actually get extra pay. You more or less get overseas pay, or what's called COLA, cost of living allowance, because it is so far away. Certain things are a little bit more expensive, like, milk, for instance, so, and because it is a literal paradise, and it is a, a tourist trap, when you are not trapped, but like a tourist location, when you're stationed there, the Navy understands that it's going to be more expensive. Like, so you even get paid extra money because you're stationed there, because, you're going to be paying tourist like prices and stuff. So,
yeah. So, lots of places to see, and that's literally a very tiny sample size of the places you can go.
Yeah.
So just imagine where else and what else you could see. Anything that your mind can think of, you have the ability to go to it, because we travel the entire world.
I could talk on each one of those places that I went to about something that I saw, but it's one of my favorite things about what I did. And I would tell you that if you're in the Navy, or if you're thinking about joining the Navy, or you're getting ready for your first deployment, my advice to you, and this is only advice, look, like, if you're of age or whatever and you want to drink, like, come home and do that. When you go to these places, like, take the opportunity, take those tours, go out and see stuff. Like, I've touched the Parthenon. Like, that's insane to me. I never thought I'd be able to do that. Take advantage of it. It is one of, I think, the standout difference between our service and others, if somebody were to ask. So absolutely 100%. And again, thank you so much. Like, please make sure to smash that like button, share this feed, share this video, comment down below. If you're seeing this later, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, please tell me, what was your favorite port visit? Why? Is there something that we should look up? Maybe I need to plan where I need to go next. You know what I mean? We want to hear what was your favorite place that you visited, whether in the service or not. If you're not in the service and you've been overseas, where have you been? But smash that like button. If you're on YouTube, smash that subscribe button.
And leave a review if you're listening right now on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
Leave a review. Give us the 5 stars. Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
and
only if you're gonna leave 5 stars. If you're gonna
Only-
leave
yeah.
like 1 or 2, like
if you're gonna
don't.
leave
Just
1
don't.
star, can you just
Don't.
please? All
Walk
right.
into traffic.
Thanks, guys. Hey, bonus content starts in 3, 2.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. You were just behind the helm. To see this podcast live, check us out on Facebook every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you were listening to this podcast on Apple or Spotify, head on over to our YouTube page to see this show and extra content. If you're on YouTube already, click the video below to see the after show and bonus content that's available right now. No matter what platform you're on, find the link in the description to find the links to all our other platforms. And as always, find it, like it, share it, and follow it. Thanks, guys.